Thanks to JNUTA and congratulations for organizing this Constitution at 70. And I think that the Constitution at 70 is not getting older, but it's getting younger. Why I'm saying this is because one speaker has already told you that the Constitution life usually has been 17 years. So if we are having this Constitution for the last 70 years, that means this is a celebration time. But apart from the celebration time, I think we need to think about also the challenges. Why I'm saying so is because when you look at the Constitution of India and the debate that was taking place even after the Constitution was drafted, then Dr. Ambedkar was asked that, what do you think about the Constitution now? Then he said this very categorically, that the Constitution, howsoever good may prove to be a bad Constitution if those who are implementing the Constitution are a bad lot. But though if the Constitution by chance is a bad Constitution, but those at the helm of affairs are a good lot, the Constitution which is a bad Constitution may prove to be a good Constitution. So, and with this I am reminded of Dr. K.R. Narendra's words when he in fact challenged in some senses and asked the regime in power NDA 1 under Atal Bihari Vajpayee, when they talked about the review of the Constitution, and it has been referred already. That time K.R. Narendran had said that we need to see whether the Constitution has failed and there is a need to review the Constitution, but we have to see that whether it is we, those having power to implement the Constitution, have failed the Constitution. So the final, in fact, let's say the responsibility is of those who are in the power to implement the Constitution and make the Constitution a living Constitution. Apart from that, I would say that we had a challenge of democracy in 1975, wherein there was a declared emergency, and now in 2014 onwards, we see a challenge to the democracy where there is, in some senses, undeclared kind of emergency. Why I say so is because the right to expression, the right to speak, that is being questioned. So if that is being questioned, then we certainly need to think that whether the Constitution of India actually is functioning or not. And when the institutions which are supposed to implement the Constitution of India, the final authority which is to interpret the Constitution of India, if questions come from there itself and the people there itself feel unsafe, insecure, then there certainly is something which needs to be understood. And when we look at the kind of situation which we are in today, now certainly the common masses are reading the preamble of the Constitution. They are reclaiming the Constitution. And this was not the case earlier, it has been already told, because it was not the case in 1975 when the emergency was declared. That time the masses were protecting and coming out in support of democracy. That time they were not coming in support of, let's say, the Constitution so directly. But now people are coming in support of defense of the Constitution very, very directly, and those who are coming certainly are the people actually who probably did not come out, did not bother much about the Constitution of India. And when the people who did not much bother about the Constitution of India, if they are coming in large numbers to defend the Constitution of India, I think then certainly there is something which needs to be understood and which certainly is a challenge, as well as there can be celebration of this constitutional reclamation. But at the same time, if you look at the history of last 70 years, then we need to understand this also, that the regressive forces in the country, they have been working very, very carefully at the grassroots level, and if they have been functioning at the grassroots level, and we are seeing their success now after, let's say, 60 years or so, then we certainly need to be very, very careful and very, very cautious. Because if we are celebrating the Constitution today, then and the contradiction is that they themselves are saying that we want to defend the Constitution. We are for the Constitution. It was a different matter in NDA 1, wherein there was a review of the Constitution. But now the challenge is more. Why? Because now the people who don't like this Constitution, who want to go against this Constitution, are also saying that we are for the Constitution. So that's why I think apart from celebration, there is need to be cautious, and I have been told that there is less time, so I'll just stop here and thank you very much.